listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Happy Friday. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. We are so happy to have you here with us. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, stories of hope, inspiration, and overcoming adversity. As always, we are live on Business Talk Radio and social media, streaming live to 6 platforms, and we become a podcast on 5 others, so 11 platforms in total. This is our 7th show today, and every guest has just been fantastic. My co-hosts have been amazing, and we love the audience participation, so thank you so much. This show means a lot to me because this is the very first show I started with. I started on Zoom, Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity. And just a quick background, I have 3 autoimmune illnesses, and I run a support group for the Crohn's Colitis Foundation. Actually, it was 2 support groups before the pandemic. And I wanted a place where people could come and authentically share their story. I didn't share my story for 20 some years. I was diagnosed in 1991 with ulcerative colitis. And it wasn't until I found the Crohn's Colitis Foundation that I felt comfortable enough to talk about what it was like living with the dreaded bathroom disease. So I wanted other people to be able to come and share what they have been living with, what they've been maybe keeping inside and stuffing down that they needed to just get out. So thank you to all of you who supported me and who've come across this stage, whether it was Zoom or here. I really appreciate it. Today, we have another person who is incredible. She is joining us from Nevada, and she has her own story that I can't wait for her to share. Her name is Rita Smith. Welcome, Rita.
Hi, thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. And so folks know we actually met on Clubhouse, and we're not, neither one of us, I don't think, Rita, that we're paid spokespersons for Clubhouse, but it's a great place to meet and connect. And I heard you share some of your story. So before we begin, you are in the health and beauty world, and you really help people feel better about themselves, and you take a whole body approach, a whole wellness approach. Can you share a little bit more about that before you go into your story?
Yes. It's a healthy lifestyle habits is what I support people in getting started doing. A lot of us don't know how to do that. It takes enough sleep. It takes hydration. It takes getting your energy up. It gets the stress, managing stress, eating the right foods, incorporating natural products, natural solutions, removing toxicity from our lives, but not only on the level of what you put into your body, but also what you're putting into your mind. So that's what I love to support people in doing.
And you know what, Rita, it's so beautiful that you're doing that, because we all need more of it, don't we?
Yes. Oh, yes. And I love sharing this with everybody I come in contact with. I mean, people really, really look out, because I'm all about sharing to support people.
It's wonderful. And I think something else is interesting is, as time goes on, let's say you have healthy habits, but then something happens in your life and you just need that comfort food. You pick up that drink, whatever it is. Maybe you start exercising hours on end, and you have to reassess why you're doing what you're doing. I know that you personally have been through your own journey, and we would love to hear about where you were and where you are now. Would you share that with us?
Yes, and I'll try to be as concise as possible, because I need to start the beginning. When I was a child, I had lots of traumatic experiences back to back. I had the most beautiful parents you could imagine, but they were entrepreneurs, very successful entrepreneurs, so they were absent. Consequently, they needed to get nannies into the picture, and it was a revolving door of nannies. Well, me being the oldest one, I was looking for nurturing, which wasn't there. So this led to a lifetime of bad choices, looking for love, as they say, in all the wrong places. That was me. I grew up this way. I led my life this way. On the outside, I was fine. I was holding down jobs, not really advancing like I would like to have been, but that's because of all the internal turmoil that had been going on since my childhood, which I had never resolved. Life went on. Then let's speed up a little bit. In 2019, my mom got sick. All my life, I had blamed my mom, by the way, for everything bad that had happened in my life because she was absent. I did not know what a beautiful person she was until recently. However, that's what happened. 2019, she was living with me. She got very, very sick. She was 92, I believe. And she had dementia, which we had no clue. So the illness that she had landed her in the hospital. The doctor said, we can take care of her for you, but it's not guaranteed that she's going to come out because this is a hospital. I said, that's okay. It's not a problem. I'll take care of her. I had no clue what I had just gotten myself into. I'd never, ever done this. I brought her home. I found myself sleeping on the floor with her at night. And I found myself taking care of her 24/7. Something I had no clue that I was going to be doing. I had no backup system in place. I had no caregivers. I had no services available. I had nothing. All I had was raw energy, raw adrenaline. My energy was quickly fading. My energy on every level was quickly fading, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. And then COVID hit. So there went my financial as well, stability. So everything hit rock bottom. I continued this way for several months, just spiraling downward. June, I was on the floor, literally in a yoga position because I didn't give up on my yoga. I didn't give up on my meditation. I didn't give up on using my essential oils to support me through this whole process. And since I started, by the way, essential oils 7 years ago and those healthy habits, but nothing could prepare me for what happened when she got sick. It just hit me. It's like I hit a wall. I was on the floor and then that's when I rose up, as I say, literally off the ground, and I rose up in my spirit and I said, this is it. This is where it stops. Something has got to give. I cannot continue this way anymore. But I had nowhere to turn, nowhere to go. I had nothing, no resources in place.
Rita, I'm wondering what emotions were coming up for you when you think back to that. I'm imagining there was fear, there's anger, there's guilt, there's a lot of things. What was coming up for you at that time?
All of the above, and the guilt, especially because I'd felt so much anger towards my mom all my life. I had to learn how to forgive. So this is where my journey started. I started cleansing myself of the negative energy. I started meditating, and I dove into meditation as a prayerful meditation, a deep restorative meditation like I never had before. And I had an amazing encounter, as I love to call it, an amazing awakening one day as I was meditating. I just laid it all out and I went so deep, and it was amazing. When I opened my eyes, it was like an aha moment. There's no other way to describe it. It was like, oh my God, it's all in me. Everything I need is in me. It's been in me all along, but I never knew it. It was never I had to be on the floor. And this is why I try to support people before they get to that place. But that's what got me there. And I was feeling all the emotions. But when I came out of that meditation, I was a different person. And I've never, ever gone back to being that person that I was since that day. Although the work began from that moment on, I've never gone back to that low place like I was that day.
Rita, thank you so much for your transparency, for sharing this, because this is a very important message. We're in a situation now where people have moved back in, parents with children, grandparents, and people have to take care of people. There are people who are in positions now where they are caretakers and no idea what it is they're doing. And without resources, outlets, what happens is, in my experience of what I've seen, is people just become completely in a complete breakdown, and mentally, physically, then the financial piece comes along, and they're trying to help this person, save this person's life, but eventually they're not going to. So they put all of this work in that might not even be appreciated by the patient, because the patient's going through their own situation. So it can be overwhelming. So tell us now, you did the meditation, all these emotions came out, you're cleansing. What happened next?
Everything you said is so true. And this is why my heart goes out to caregivers everywhere. They are such an underappreciated segment of the population. It's my goal not right now because my hands are full with my mom, but to get more involved in supporting caregivers somehow, caregiver awareness and dementia awareness. We have oils to support all that. We have oils to support us, but I want to get more involved. So I started the work of what I like to call is tending the garden of my mind. I started watching my thoughts. I started realizing how my thoughts all my life had been negative. So it took it's like your brain is like a disc, and we have the needle on that disc wearing a groove deeper and deeper and deeper, which is where your go-to emotions have been all your life, your go-to thoughts, your go-to emotions. So I started picking up that needle and beginning a new groove. And that is where the work began, because this was a moment by moment, even to this day, moment by moment thing that I needed to teach myself how to think, how to feel, managing my stress, managing my emotions, but most importantly, what thoughts was I thinking that became my words, that became my actions, that became my emotions. It all started there. And today, I couldn't even tell you what it took to get ready for this little segment that we have going here with my beautiful mom. You wouldn't even believe it, but it's a every day. It takes work every single day. It took years to get me here to where I'm at. And now it's going to take years to create that new groove. But that initial awakening, like where to go for the resource, is in me. And this is where I love to guide people.
It's very interesting. It sounds like you had issues with your mom for a long time. You felt abandoned, and then you end up taking care of her, and having to put all of those emotions, or so you thought, having to put them aside. But yet, I think probably they all came full circle. And then, in addition to dealing with all those years of that pain, now you have to watch her dying, and you have to take care of her. So something like that, I would imagine, does take significant work on a regular basis. So if you're out there and you're in this situation, give yourself some grace. Okay, go easy on yourself, because it's a tough road. And Rita has tools to help you through the process. So please continue.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's yes, everything you're saying, I resonate with that. I'm so glad that my message is coming through and that you're actually capturing what I'm trying to convey, because it is very, very difficult. It takes knowing, it takes getting in touch with your divine guidance, as I like to put it, to really manage how you're going to go forth this moment. For instance, to put it bluntly, I take care of her for everything, right? I mean, she's still mobile, but there are things where she just refuses to do. Putting her shoes on, and I'm standing there and I watching like my clock, I got to get going. That all goes out the window. Everything goes out the window. So this is the stressor that most caregivers, I think, with dementia run into, is the inability for the person they're caring for. I'm looking over here because I have my mom on the monitor. She's with me 24/7.
It's, I think something that you brought up, I really want to touch on. Dementia is its own thing, right? It's so hard when the mind starts to go, but the body is still there. And watching that process is very difficult. So can you share with us, Rita, some of the things that you mentioned meditation and oils, but do you have a routine that you follow on a regular basis?
Well, my routine is that I wake up in the morning because that's the only time I have for me. So I wake up early in the morning. I get my meditation. I get my cup of coffee. I get my meditation going. Then I do my journaling. When my journaling was also like a lifesaver for me, I began journaling like I never had. I really hadn't ever journaled on a life-saving basis. So this is what I started doing. I started journaling, um, which I'm hoping someday to somehow turn into a book to help others. But I start journaling. From there, I do my yoga. From there, I do my exercising. I have a little jumping trampoline that I do my jumping on every morning, my stretching. I do my listening of beautiful things that are going to feed my brain. I start that from before I get out of bed. I turn on something that's going to feed my brain, something that I'm constantly feeding my brain with the right things. And this is what happened in that awakening, is that I was able to instantly, I went back to that old groove, so I can instantly switch it back to the new groove. Where before I had no clue that I was doing that. It's a way of life. So now that's part of my routine. And that routine continues through the whole day, is managing my thoughts, managing my stress, putting on my oils to help me do that, breathing, telling myself the positive things that I need to get me centered. When I'm not feeling centered at all, I know the words to tell myself so that I can just, breathing. Breathing is such an important thing. It's directly connected to our nervous system. So you breathe, and this is why meditation is also so important to us, because it gets our body relaxed and we just breathe. The journaling helps us to express those things that we can't share with anyone. I always tell people, if you're afraid someone's going to read your journal, write the stuff down and tear it up. If you're that afraid that someone's going to read something that you wrote down, and it's just like you don't want the world to know, just tear it up. But getting it out it's an amazing process, So that's basically from when I wake up in the morning to 10 o'clock when I wake up my mom. That's my time, and that's my routine. The rest of the day, my routine is taking care of my mom and self-care for me, making sure that I'm getting the right nutrients, making sure I'm getting hydrated, making sure that I'm getting, exercising even during the day. Managing stress is unbelievably important. And that starts with your thoughts. It starts right there.
That is so true. I think that one thing we don't even realize is when you mentioned breathing, I'll find myself, today's a big day for me because I have all these shows, and I realize I'm not even breathing very deeply, like very shallow breaths. And I have to, mentally say to myself, wait a minute, you need to take some deep breaths, get some airflow going, get the brain opening up. But it is something that's learned, I think. And I love everything you're doing, by the way. And I have a trampoline too, which I think is so funny because I meditate and do yoga, and I've got the trampoline. So, for those of you out there who don't know this, if you jump on a trampoline, it's amazing. Like you feel like a little kid again. You just get this great energy, and it's also good for your skin. I think it helps lift everything up. So at least that's what I'm finding.
And it's good for your limbic system. I think I read that 10 minutes on a trampoline is like running for 30 minutes.
Yes.
If you do it vigorously, right? But the important thing is to hydrate afterwards. You have to keep hydrated because you're releasing all those toxins when you're jumping. You're releasing all that toxicity. So you want to flush it out with lots of water. And lots of people don't do enough hydration. That's another thing that's going to cause stress, and it's going to just bring you down on all your levels. You have to stay hydrated. When I first started taking care of my mom, I forgot all of that. And of course, I hadn't had my awakening, as I like to call it. And I lost 13 pounds. My mom lost 18 pounds.
Wow.
And it was just we were just trying to survive. She started getting better, right? Because she had the care. I was giving her the care.
Yes, yes.
But myself, I had to really, really focus on eating and drinking and getting my sleep. Well, I couldn't get the sleep because I was taking care of her day and night. But thank God, I got caregivers in my life. At least once a week so I could get some sleep. It was just really important for me to get that care, self-care for caregivers, for anybody taking care of someone, even if it's someone taking care of a child who's got challenges, physical challenges. Caregivers are grandkids taking care of their grandparents. This world of caregivers for me is just, it's amazing. I had no idea it existed. It's really sad.
It is. And it makes you have gratitude for people who are taking care of other people professionally. Like that's what their work is. You wonder how they disassociate after they, how do they leave that person they're caring for and not take all that emotion of it's hard watching someone struggle, and it's hard for the person who's going through it too, right? So if you are the patient, you realize your life isn't the same as it used to be. You're the mother and you're being taken care of by your daughter. You know that your life is not the way it used to be, and that has to be really hard on a lot of levels.
With my mom, because she has dementia, she's more or less not really cognizant, aware of that, why she's even different. But I know that on some level, she knows she's different, but she doesn't know why she's different. And she doesn't understand that I have to be guiding her to do every single thing, as we do with people with dementia. You have to sort of, prompt them for every single thing and make them do things they don't want to do. And as far as caregivers that come into our home and they do this for a job, God bless them, oh my gosh. I don't know how they do it, because really, this is not a job that I would choose. If I were, okay, I'm going to go get a job now, I would not choose the profession of caregiving. This is something I was thrown into. I wasn't prepared for it. I never asked for it. Boom, here it is. I have no choice. I do have a choice, yes, but my family, we've decided, my siblings and I have decided that I'm going to do this as long as I can. And then my mom will go to a group home, but we're trying to really, really avoid that, and the people that come into our home are angels. But when they leave, because we bond, from what I've been able to gather is they are able to disassociate. The minute they leave, it's like, on to their lives, because when I leave, it's harder for me to disassociate because I'm worried about what's going on at home with them, but if it's a caregiver that I trust, my brain is just, I dump it all and I go off enjoying myself. Like for instance, this weekend, my daughter's moving. And so I'm helping her move, unpack boxes and using my body, to go back and forth from inside and out, to be loading the car and unloading the car and loading stuff. Oh my gosh, it's such it feels so good to be using my body that way and not even thinking about the caregiving. And this is what's so hard for so many caregivers. They have nothing in place. A lot of them, resources like this to get people in the home. It's sad to say that some people they make too much money, so they don't qualify for services. Everything out of pocket, And right now during COVID, it's been a challenge to find caregivers. For some reason, caregivers are in shortage. So I'm really, really grateful for what I have right now. And that's something I wouldn't have been able to tell you before June of my awakening. I would not have, as I call it, I would not have been able to say, I am so grateful. They say that from extreme pressure comes beauty. From isolation, which we were, during COVID, from isolation comes new life. We were under extreme pressure when COVID hit. We couldn't leave the house. The two of us, me and my mom and my husband, we were stuck here. And thank God that this happened, because before it happened, it was torture for all of us. After it happened, when I was given this light from inside that I could share, my world around me started changing. I was able to share and shed light in this home, and everything changed for all of us in here because of that extreme isolation and that extreme pressure. New life and new birth came forth. It was amazing. It was amazing. I'm actually trying to write a book about that too, but it was just an amazing experience. And the thing is that we all have it within us. These wealth seeds within us, we all have them. All we have to do is go in and listen. People don't take the time to just slow down and stop and listen. go inward. And that's what I did. That's all I did. I just started listening. But it was a deep meditation. It was where I was purging negativity. It wasn't pleasant. It was hard. It was painful. And then afterwards, the work began of, like I said, tending the garden of my mind, watching my thoughts. It takes practice to this day. It takes practice. It gets easier, but it takes practice.
I think you're right. It takes practice a lot of times because somehow drama might try to find its way into our lives, and it's like it shakes you up. Like I think this pandemic, there was a lot of drama going on in this world, and depending on where you live in the world, it may still be going on. But I think it really gave us all as human beings pause to reflect about our planet, about our environment, about each other. And I'm hoping that everyone, I hate to say everyone, but like everyone has something positive that they can say came out of this. I know there's a ton of misery and loss, and I'm not negating that, but I hope that during this time you can find something in a self-care perspective, or for the world, or for your community, for sustainability that you can learn from.
Yes, yeah, it's been really hard on the whole world, as you say, and yes, there has been lots of loss, but at the same time, I have heard that very, very often, how people, because of this, they came forth and they were new people. They began to appreciate things that they didn't know that they had before. I mean, life changed for us, and it's not going to go away soon, so we, on a daily basis, are learning how to maneuver within this life, within this new age that we're in. And my hope is that we are all going to find that love, and that those wealth seeds within, that we can give love to people. It's so important to lead from love, and a lot of that comes from fear. So if we can shed the fear, go in, listen to that divine center, that divine wisdom that we have, and live from love, and shed the fear, because a lot of what's going on in the world is fear-based. So if we can let go of that fear and start loving, lighting up the world with love, because it's all about vibrations too, which I believe in, high vibrations, low vibrations, so we are in a high vibrating mode. We are emitting those high vibrations to others, and they feel it, whether they know it or not. They feel it. And I know, because it happened in this house. It was like a little incubator for me, those months of COVID where we couldn't leave. And I was going through this new life thing. And I was like, wow, every minute I was, wow, that just happened. Wow, this, like, mini miracles were happening every single day because of where we found ourselves, locked up because of COVID, and I'm still, even though the world is opening up, I'm still a little bit locked up. I can't go out and do my business like I used to, so I've learned how to do the online thing, which has been a real challenge. I'm still learning. This whole tech thing has been a real challenge, but little by little we learn and we apply ourselves, and we feel determined. We're going to do it. Well, that's what I've been doing anyway, because it's either that or what am I going to do? Just give up. Like, okay, I guess there goes my business, because COVID.
Yeah, you've come too far. You're not going back on that floor again unless it's still yoga exercises. So. Rita, I want to ask you, and by the way, I was so engrossed in the conversation, I never took us to commercial, but that's okay. I wanted to ask you, if somebody is interested in meditating, or they're interested in yoga, but they've never done it before. And, I've heard this a million times when it comes to yoga, for example. I'm not in shape. Okay, you don't have to be in shape. I'm not flexible. You don't have to be flexible. You have to start somewhere. What would you say to somebody, like, what's the first step to take if you want to start to heal within and you want to practice yoga or meditation?
Oh boy. The way it happened for me, I'll just go back to my experience. For meditation, I sat I put on beautiful music. For me, I'm very affected by the music around me. I'm affected by noises around me. I love the sounds of nature. So I would open the windows or I would sit outside. I would listen to the birds, anything that's going to uplift you. And then you go in, you breathe deeply, right? I like to imagine the number three, and then I count down to three, 1, 2, 3 with the number three. Then I do two, 1, 2, and then one. The whole time I'm breathing, I'm just relaxing, and I'm just very aware of each part of my body becoming relaxed. Then I started pulling out the negativity from the toes up. I just started pulling up all the negativity through my heart, and I would blow it out. And I did this, and I would also do a practice where I would bring people before me and I would forgive. I had to do this with my mom. I had a very moving meditation where my mom, when she was young, brought herself, holding her by the hand. She was holding herself at 93. They were both walking towards me, and she said, "Will you please take care of me at 93? Would you please take care of me now?" And she said, "And I love you." And so I was just there in this healing. It's just the healing, the shedding of all the forgiveness, because I had a lot to forgive. The yoga, simple. Google, YouTube, search easy yoga for beginners. It couldn't be any easier in this world that we live in now. We can search for anything on the internet. So YouTube, that was it for me. That's where I started. I started with baby steps. And then I memorized them, and then I just incorporated my own steps. So now I just do my own rhythm, my own steps, my own poses to get me stretched, because stretching is so important. Flexibility is so important. It releases toxicity also in your body when you're stretching. It's so important to stretch. Journaling was another important thing for me, important aspect of healing. I started writing things down from a heart space, and I just poured it all out, and it wasn't necessarily like dumping negativity. It was inspiring. As I was writing, I was like lifted. I was so lifted, as I was writing down these things, because it was coming from a beautiful place. I had just come from meditation into the journaling, and oh boy, if I could just, if I had hours to tell you all about it, but it was just an amazing experience. So that's what I would say. Just start very simply, search for yoga for beginners, search for meditation for beginners. Contact me, I'll help you get started. It's not hard at all. All we have to do is be willing to listen.
Yes, thank you. Great advice. We have to take the first step because nobody can take it for us. We do have a comment here from Irene Hackett. Thank you for sharing. You're so helpful information for so many. That's beautiful. Friend of yours?
Yes, I know her.
Thank you for watching, Irene. We appreciate it. Speaking of going online, I have decided I'm going to take belly dancing because I think it's great for, your midsection. And so I looked it up, and right there on YouTube, they have belly dancing classes for free.
Exactly, right? Exactly. This is what I would say. Anything you want nowadays, search it. I did belly dancing back in my 20s. It's fun. You're going to love it. I don't know if I'd want to do it now, but.
Well, I figured it's so, like, I have the trampoline and I've got spinning bike, and I'm going to start running again. I hate running, but I think running is it helps you clear your mind. And when you think of a limited amount of time to work out, walking is great, but it doesn't burn anywhere near the amount of calories as running or even trampolining. So I just thought that'd be kind of a fun thing to put in my workout every, maybe twice a week.
Yes, if you can get out, go for it. Run.
Yes.
For myself, I run on the trampoline because that's all I can do right now. When I get a caregiver in here, I want to leave. I don't want to sit in the house and exercise. I want to just leave and go do something fun. I want to go get a coffee, maybe even indulge in a mimosa or whatever. I'm not encouraging people to drink, but I'm just saying, nothing wrong with one little drink. Moderation is key.
That's exactly right. You have to be able to enjoy your life. And it's so good to hear you laughing, see you smiling, and you look like you're in a good place.
I am so grateful. I am in a good place. Everything is for a reason. Because of this, I'm now able to support others through their journeys that I never was able to do before. I was in a very, very low place all my life, basically. And by grace, I am still here because of all the mistakes I made. But and my beautiful mom is still here. And like it or not, I'm tough on her, but I take good care of her. I do things that she won't listen to caregivers. She won't pay attention to caregivers. But with me, I'm the boss. And it takes a lot out of me to be that way. But this is where my practice comes in, my breathing. So I'm practicing what I preach every single moment of every single day. And this is what I have now. And I'm grateful that I can have this now to share and support others because I know of what I speak. Just so to speak.
Well, I'm so happy that you and your mom are doing well. We wish you both the best, and also your husband. I think it's like, to your point, in the situations that we're in, like I'm with my mother in a lockdown since June, and neither one of us would be together and neither one of us would be here where we are, but it's been an amazing experience. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for Clubhouse, that I met you and that you came here and you shared your story. That's just beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful to have met you. Thank you so much. The work you do is amazing. I don't know how you do it. Hour after hour sitting there, doing these amazing interviews and supporting people. It's just an amazing work that you do. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you I appreciate your nice comments. What I do now to try to keep more energy is I'm standing through all the shows. So, and that's hard. It's very hard to stand all this time. I have so much respect for people who stand for a living. Yeah. If you think about it, it's not an easy thing to do, but.
No, in fact, I thought about doing that myself, but I thought, no, I need to conserve my energy for the rest of the day. So I'm going to sit. But yes, thank goodness that you're standing. That's really, really great. And so during your breaks, we squat, we do this, we do that all during the day.
I've got my weight. I lift my during the commercial breaks.
Awesome.
But I would love to have you back on one of our other shows. We've got 17 shows a week, so you'll be a great fit for some of them. Some of them are the dating show isn't going to be good, but I'm thinking, the business show. I have a story to tell. A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. So I hope we'll stay in touch and that you'll come back again and let us know how things are going.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for all the work you do. If any of your listeners want to contact me, they can message me. I'm happy to send out even samples to see, if there's some kind of oil we can find to support their lifestyle, their health.
That's wonderful. I'm going to spotlight you. Thank you for saying that. So people on the radio can't see this banner. So if you could just let people know the best way to get in touch with you and the services that you offer.
I think the easiest way is going to be through my Instagram account, which is the letter I, the number 2, Rita. I2 Rita. That's the easiest. The services that I provide are, as we said before, I love to guide people in meditation and get started with that for a healing process, to journal for the healing process, to know how to learn how to start managing their stress, their thoughts, their words on a daily basis, because it takes so much practice to do that. The lifestyle side of it, to incorporate healthy products into their homes, natural products, reduce toxic load, use essential oils given to us by this beautiful earth, the purest you can find, to support our bodies in natural ways.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I'm a big fan of essential oils myself. So please reach out to Rita. She has so much to offer. And again, not paid spokesperson, but if you're not on Clubhouse, I don't know what you're doing, because this is such an amazing way to connect with people from all over the world that you never would have had an opportunity to meet probably otherwise. So please, if you need an invitation, I think I have 9 or so. And again, I don't get compensated or I don't get anything for it. Just would like to help you if you'd like to get on there.
Exactly. Yes. It's amazing that I've met amazing contacts, including you. Thank you so much. And yeah, I have about 7 invites.
Okay. So between the 2 of us, look how many people we can help. 16 people.
I'm on the Clubhouse.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rita, for being here. I'll reach out to you again and have you back on one of our other shows.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jacalyn. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. And hello to your mom and to your husband.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. Rita was so wonderful, so special. If you are in a similar situation where you're taking care of someone, remember that you have to take care of yourself first. You have to find time to breathe and to connect with yourself, and writing it all down, as Rita mentioned, is such a great way. You can take all that emotion that you're feeling, just put it down. And as she also mentioned, rip it up afterwards if you don't want anyone to see it. Just get it out of your body so that you can be good for yourself and also for the person that you're caring for. Because a lot of times what I've seen is people are so angry, resentful, and then it comes out and onto the other person who's already going through a major change in their life. So just be kind to yourself, be kind to others. And thank you again for being here. Thank you for supporting our work, for our shows. Thank you for being our guests, our co-hosts. Thank you for the emails that I get. Thank you for the marriage proposals that I get that I'm not taking up on, but I do appreciate it. So that's all for now. We've got another show right after this, The Variety Show, with my co-host Lori Mendelson. And our guest is John Christian is joining us, and they're probably waiting for me right now. So I will see you later. Thank you again. Have a great evening.